Hello everybody, it's been a long time since we've done a video about just about anything, but we're going to come back on the scene here because it's budget time again at Dodge County. Yes, that's right. Last year we had an exploding budget at Dodge County. I think it went from 160 million up to 200 million, and it's not going down this year. Are you surprised? It won't go up a lot, they say. But what we're going to talk about today is something that's been going on quite a while. The highway department and roads and equipment is the same old, same old. You know, if you've been close to the Dodge County Highway Department and the Dodge County government, even in general, you will know that there's always been a little bit of an issue about money and trucks and roads and borrowing money, and it never goes away. But I'm going to just give you a little background quickly here on what's going on, the way it sounds. And next week I'll come back and give you even more details. But they never seem to go without when it comes to equipment. And the highway department employees do very good work. I mean, I know, I just had the road here finally done, and it is really nice, a good job. But I think there's something weak when it comes to money management, and the highway department employees don't have anything to do with that. We know that, say for instance, they build their snowplow patrol trucks. They build them by themselves. They get pieces like an erector set. They get the frame and then they put together everything, you know. But they build them to last 20 years with the plan to get rid of them in 12 to 15 years. So we pay that extra money, and they say we recover it, we recoup it in the sales price of the trucks, but we're putting that all out. Plus, we have a whole year of labor in those trucks before we ever get to use them. So there are things that need to be looked at, but there's only one person on the highway committee that wants to look at it. So now you know why it's not going anywhere. Now, you probably all know people who always are short of money, but they have really nice toys. Well, that's sort of what's going on here with the highway department, because they need money, but they're all set with everything else. Now, I don't mind if people have good things, but everything else should be in place at the same time. There's a saying that says people have time and money for doing things that they want to do, and I think that might be sort of true here too. The financial managers of the highway department aren't really doing their job right. Roads are their primary responsibility. According to state law, they are to maintain the road system in Dodge County, but every year they never have any money. They never have any money. We're short money here. The only reason they got done the last year or two is because the federal government gave us ARPA money. Free money, you know. And that money, first it went to pet projects of a certain few supervisors. But then all of a sudden they decided, well, let's fix roads, which I wanted to do from the get-go, but they had their pet projects they wanted to do first. But the highway department never has enough money to maintain their road system of Dodge County, even though that's their primary responsibility. But they do have enough money to keep everything in nice new shape when it comes to equipment. What's more important to them? Obviously, you see, roads are second. Equipment's first. Well, you need safe equipment, they say. Well, maybe it's more than that. Well, this year was an experiment at Dodge County. Nobody knew what to do about that. So they turned the highway department into an enterprise, like a, what would you call it, a separate enterprise business under Dodge County. Dodge County still owns it, but they have to manage their finances sort of like businesses in the private sector. In other words, you have to make money to spend money. Kind of a radical idea. But they have services they offer, and they charge fees for their services. Snow plowing, fixing roads, culvert, whatever it is. And those fees, that income, was to be used to purchase equipment. So I can kind of figure out, somebody up there in Dodge County wanted to say, well, let's get a handle on the spending in the highway department. Let's make sure they make money with the equipment that they're using every day or every week. Guess what happened? It sounds like they're running out of money. Wonder why. Making money to spend money is nothing new to us, but what happens if we run out of money? We make some cuts. We do something to get by. What does the highway department say? Dad, Mom, that's the county government's, the pile of money that's saved in the general fund. We need some money over here. We're getting a little short, so could you send some over? That's what I hear has happened. And I'm going to go back and listen to the highway committee meetings now to see exactly how it transpired. But that's the word that came to me, is like, we're short. At the last meeting, a supervisor asked the administrator, what about how the highway department's supposed to do their business? And it was sort of an apologetic answer. Well, it's the first year and we're trying to figure this out. And to me it said, yep, there's probably some truth to those words. We'll find out for you. But they're running short of money. They have their equipment. But guess what's missing? The roads. We need money. We don't have the roads. We need roads, but we don't have the money. Guess what? Let's borrow it, right? Here we go again. We have to borrow $10 million to balance the highway department's budget for responsibilities they have according to state law. Now, other places in the county, like the sheriff's office and human services department, they know what their expenses are. They budget for them. The highway department knows what their expenses are. It's roads and equipment. Obviously, there's always labor and stuff. But they never budget for roads. They always budget for equipment and wages. But the roads, oh, let's get it from sales tax. There is some that comes from sales tax. Let's get some funding. There is some that comes from funding. But what's left over is sort of left hanging there saying, well, we don't know exactly what we're going to do, but we'll figure something out. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, we're just going to borrow the money. That's what they want to do for next year. We've held off on it so far, but now that's what they come to again. So why can everybody else do it, but why can't they do it? And why can't they be told, you must do it that way? Why should we borrow for 10 years to pay for each year of road when they should just budget for it and we'll put them in because we have to, and then we're done with it? No interest. So now, that's where we're sitting. Now, what if their solution to this problem would have been, we'll wait till the lawnmower goes past here. Just got that fixed today, and boy, everybody wants to use it, but they have to come right by the window where we are, right? Anyhow, so they run into this problem, and so what is their solution? Well, let's budget for roads first. Now that's quite a radical idea. We have to fix roads. Let's put it in the budget. We're going to fix the roads. Every year they want to fix 22 miles of roads, so that every 25 years or so, every road gets fixed depending on their condition. Well, no, that's not their first option. They didn't like that. So another option, well, let's trim our excessive equipment purchases. That's kind of a radical idea, right? Nope, that doesn't work. We like our equipment. Well, let's budget for our equipment purchases and get what we need, and then we'll just borrow the money for the roads. Why are we always falling onto that? So those 22 miles of roads, they want it to be budgeted. There's no ARPA money left, so there's no money they can just pull out of the government's pocket in the federal level. So I guess, wow, I know where they can get it from. Your pockets. Perfect answer. We need money, taxpayers, you're going to get it for us, right? And we're going to borrow money so you can pay that off for us. We're going to borrow it. So our $210 million budget, we can't find $10 million for roads in that whole big budget. I question that. So we'll have more details for you next weekend. I want you to call your supervisors. I want you to say, we don't want this kind of stuff. We want responsible budgeting done here. And hey, if you know somebody, maybe yourself, that wants to run for county board supervisor, there's lots of room on the board, believe me, for someone who is fiscally responsible. So that's sort of an introduction to what's going on. like I say, I'm going to do some more homework now. We're going to get some more details for you for sure. But that's the buzz about the highway department. Thanks for watching.